If we just mute everybody, mute all. Yes. Make me the pin. Oops. Pin. No. Pin. Yeah. Does it look like same like you have? Well, let's see if I can get light in. That's okay. That's good. Sit wherever you want. Okay. This. Hello, everybody on Zoom. Oh, I have to. I have everyone on mute for right now. We can talk later. I got stuff flying in front of me here. It's okay. Okay, good. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's a very special night for me in that it is, and for the family. Tonight's our father's fourth yahrzeit. It's hard to believe that this has been 4 years. He passed away before COVID. Good. Doesn't know about the war, whatever. Baruch Hashem, it's all good. So before we start, I want to actually say that it's the Ili Nishmat Avi Mori, Binyamin Ben Ze'ev, but we also cannot be blind by the fact that 100 meters from here, there's a family sitting Shiva, and right nearby is another family whose family sitting Shiva. So it's also the Ili Nishmat Neran Chaim Ben Rachel Perla Ve'ofer, Hashem Yikom Damo, and Yonadav Ben Mordechai Liora, Hashem Yikom Damo. Also for Fuah Shlema for Matanya Ben Sofit, and for all those nifkei who have been injured in the war or for any other reason, everyone should come home. Bri'im ushlemim b'karov, amen. I want to thank our hosts, the Weinsteins, and I'll explain in a minute why we are physically here and not somewhere else. Also want to thank Valerie in absentia, as she's going to be pulling up soon with the food, which is the reason you're here tonight. This is just a hechetim, says they say in the Gemara, to have food. And also thank you to my wife, Andy, for all the prep she did for tonight. I did nothing but learn. So I think one or two of you asked me, like, it's nice that the Weinsteins are hosting, but why? Why would we do this here? So I have had the opportunity over the last many, many years to be inspired by people to learn various things, whether it was Yerushalmi or Bavli or Shulchan Aruch or Mishnah, whatever it might be. And about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't know, 5 years ago, something like that, I got a call from Sharon, right there, that her young son, Ayal, at 10 years old, said he wanted to make a siyum on the Rambam for his bar mitzvah, which would be 3 years later. And she started learning with him and wanted to know if I could help out. Long story short, he finished a number of the books of the Rambam before the bar mitzvah, and he made a nice siyum at the bar mitzvah, which I'm very proud to have participated in. But at the bar mitzvah, I made a promise publicly that he inspired me to finish the Rambam. We started, and he's going to continue. He just made a siyum with his mother, Mishnah Zraim, just the other day, so mazal tov on that. But he inspired me to learn the Rambam, and I downloaded the app of Rambam Yomi. Tonight we have to have that last check, but every time I finished the sefer, the Rambam, even if we weren't learning, I went over to Ayal, we made a siyum on the one the sefer, and went in the app, made a check, and it was all good. So I want to thank you, Ayal, for being my inspiration for tonight. I mean it sincerely. Yasher koach gadol. Tonight, now, you know the differences in Sfaradim and Ashkenazim in an Azkara. Ashkenazim, they make a siyum, they can eat. And Sfaradim, there's a lot more said. Now, my father, Alav Shalom, who were Ashkenazi, would be very upset if he'd be single, like, okay, he gets on, let's go. It's been more than 3.5 minutes. He'd be checking his watch 45 times while we were saying the Tehillim and everything. So, we will do this the Ashkenazi way, except for the end will be, instead of a Kemal, a Hashkava. Just very briefly, what is the Rambam, which I'm sure you're all familiar. We call him the Rambam. It's really Yad HaChazaka, Yud Dalet, 14 books of the Rambam. From the time, for those of you in the Pirkei Avot class heard this very recently from me also, but pretty much from the time of the closing of the Mishnah, approximately year 200, for almost 1,000 years, a little less, there's no book of halacha. It was, there's the time of the Talmud and the time of the Gaonim with all the letters back and forth to the Gaonim, and there was Shelot and Shuvot, but there was no book. And along comes the Rambam, and over a period of about 10 years, only 10 years, he writes this magnum opus. It has a scholarly paper written by Rose down Eric Schwartz, who wrote a scholarly paper based on Kitvei Yad of manuscripts showing and proving that the Rambam specifically rounded it off to be 1,000 chapters for whatever reason. So I didn't read the whole thing. I just kind of found that interesting. And the Rambam had one regret when he finished. And first of all, he said it's basically the only book you need. And also, well, time is pretty much the only one they had besides Mishnah and the Talmud. But he also said that he regretted something about having written this work, and that was he didn't footnote. He didn't write his sources for his work, and he regretted it because someone asked him a question about something he wrote in Hilchot Gitin, and he says, "I don't remember how I came to that conclusion." So he felt there was one regret in writing this. I would, if my life was my one regret, I would be very, very happy. There is no official quote Hadron that you say at the end of the Rambam, and all the websites tell you, and even the Rambam website says you use the Hadron that you say at the end of the Siyum Masechta, and you just make the proper change, which I'll do in a few minutes. And I'm here. I should pass these out also. I'm going to read the last two halachot in the Rambam. I need one for this. On the first side, you have the halachot, and on the back is the Hadron, which is said at the end of finishing the Sechta and all. So the very, very end of the Rambam, it deals with the topic of Mashiach, which is very timely since he's about to show up. And Bezrat Hashem. And that's a very common question that people talk about, especially when you discuss with teenagers and even young kids, but especially teenagers, like, how do you know Mashiach's coming? How do you know it's real? What's going to really happen? And what's going to be the difference? So the Rambam tells us a couple things here at the very end. I will just read these two halachot to you. This is at the end. This is Hilchot Melachim u'Milchamot. The Chachamim and the prophets did not desire and hope for the days of Mashiach, not so that the Jews could rule the world, nor should we rule over the Goyim, it wasn't the deal was not because it was a physical reason that we wanted to be able to rule the world and have the lahavdil. There's another people in this world right now that are hoping to have the 12th caliphate, right? So that's not who we are. Yes, and we don't want it because we have endless amounts of food and drink and all. Ella, rather, why? In order that we should be available and have free time to learn Torah. There's no one who's going to bother us, who's going to be bothering us to stop us from learning Torah. Oh, we have to go to war, or we have to do this, or we have whatever it might be. In order that we should earn Olam Haba. Wait a minute. We're talking about Mashiach, right? We're talking about Mashiach. What do you mean Olam Haba? So this is a topic that is dealt with in a few places. I'm just going to give you literally a 10-second primer, I don't know how you pronounce the word. I want to talk about. There's three concepts of after person passes away, or what we call the next world. There's Olam Haba or Gan Eden, right? It's a person after 120 years, and then Shama goes to Gan Eden. We say up, even though it's no physical place. There's the idea of Yemot HaMashiach, which when Mashiach comes, we have the destruction of Malek, which we started on October 8th. We have the ingathering of the exiles. We have the building of the Beit HaMikdash. That's called Yemot HaMashiach. And then what happens next? So, which he's going to talk about in the next halacha. But that happens next after the Yemot HaMashiach is what is also referred to as Olam Haba. So, what's the purpose of Yemot HaMashiach? So, again, that's its own shiur. I'm not going to get tonight. Just understand why he says that he talks about Yemot HaMashiach and he talks about Olam Haba. Okay. So, again, it's its own shiur. Halacha Hey, the last one. Uvoto azman, and at that time, Yemot HaMashiach, lo yasham lo ra'av lo milchama lo kina v'tacharut. At that time, there will be no famine or hunger, no war, no jealousy, no competition. Shatova mushpat harbe, v'chol ma'adanim mitzuyin ke'afar. Everything that we consider and we see as being so critically important in the Gashmi world, and it's going to seem like nothing. Our goal will be to focus on understanding, or whatever that means at that time, Hashem. Therefore, you chachamim gedolim, ויודעים דברים הסתומים העמוקים, ישיגו דעת בורם כפי כוח האדם, שנאמר כי מלאה הארץ דעה את השם. We will have a very different relationship with Hashem, Bezrat Hashem, when Mashiach comes. Our knowledge base is going to increase. What we think we know, what we know now is going to pale in comparison to Yemot HaMashiach and the knowledge we will have of Hashem. It's not going to be us, it's going to be the world. It's going to understand Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. At the end of every book, he also tells us how many chapters they were and what they were as a little review. Baruch noten la'yef koach. I'm going to read the Hadran Baba Special Kaddish. Hadran alach yada chazaka v'Rambam v'Hadran Halan. Dat alach yada chazaka v'Rambam v'Dat Halan lo titashem minach yada chazaka v'Rambam lo titashem minan lo ba'alma adem lo ba'alma datei. Hadran alach yada chazaka v'Rambam Hadran Halan. Dat alach yada chazaka v'Rambam v'Dat Halan lo titashem minach yada chazaka v'Rambam lo titashem minan lo ba'alma adem lo ba'alma datei. Adonach Hayala Chazakala Rambam Bajachalan Datanach Hayala Chazakala Rambam Batachalan. When it's Sheminan Minach Hayala Chazakala Rambam Blot Sheminan Lobama Den Lobama Date. Yiratzam Levanach Nailahenu Velavotenu Shetei Torachom Menatenu Balom Azel Tehi Manu Lama Ba Chanina Bar Papa Rami Bar Papa Nachman Bar Papa Achai Bar Papa Abba Mari Bar Papa Arafram Bar Papa Rachish Bar Papa Surcha Bar Papa Ada Bar Papa Daru Bar Papa. הרבנה אדוני אלוהינו דברי תורתך בפינו ופיפיות עמך בית ישראל. נהיה אנחנו צאצאינו, צאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך לומדי תורתך לשמה. והבאתך כמני מצוותיך כי לעולם היא לי, יהי ליבי תמים בחוקיך למען לא אבוש, לעולם לא אשכח פיקודך כתיבם חייתני, ברוך אתה אדוני למדני חוקיך. אמן, 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 סלע ועד. מודיעים אנחנו לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואבותינו, ששמת חלקנו מיושבי בית המדרש, ולא שמת חלקנו מיושבי קרנות. שאנו משכימים והם משכימים, אנו משכימים דברי תורה והם משכימים לדברים בטלים. אנו עמלים והם עמלים, אנו עמלים מקבלים שכר והם עמלים ואינם מקבלים שכר. אנו רצים והם רצים, אנו רצים לחיי עולם הבא, הם רצים באר שחת שנאמר ואתה אלוהים תורידנו באר שחת, אנשי דמים ומרמה לא יחצו ימיהם ואני אפתח בך. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהי, כשם שעזרתני לסיים יד החזקה לרמב"ם, כן תעזרני להתחיל מסכתות וספרים אחרים, לסיימם, ללמוד, למד, לשמור ולעשות, לקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה. He bases his work, of course, on Tanaim and Amoraim, which is why it's still absolutely appropriate to say the following. U'zchut kol Tanaim u'Amoraim talmidei chachamim yamod li u'zari shelo tamush haTorah mipi u'pi zari zer zari ad olam. Yitkayem bi, yitalecha tancha otach b'shochbecha tishmor alecha v'hakitzota hitesichecha kivi yirvu yamecha v'yosifu lecha shenot chayim orech yamim biminach b'smola osher v'chavod Adonai oz le'amo yitena Adonai yvarech damo b'shalom. גדל ויקדש שמי רבה, גם עודת עתיד וקדת על החייל מתיה, וסקה לחייל למה, ובני קלטה דירושלים, שפל לחדה בגבי, נקל פולחנה נוחרה מערה, ותבע פולחנה לשמע לתרי, גם נקודשה בריחו במלכותי, וקרא יצמח קנה וקרא משיחי, חיי חון וימי חון, חיי בית ישראל, מעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. Hey Shemay Rabba Mevarach Yelam Umeil Mayay Parav Yishtabach Vitar Vitomam Vitnasei Vitadar Vitale Vitalal Shemay Usha Bericho Ramin Kol Birchata Shirata Tishbachata Benechamata Damiran Be'alma Vimru Amen Al Yisrael V'Rabanan V'Talmideon V'Kol Talmidei Talmideon Daskim B'Rayt Kadishta Divata Dein V'Chol Atar V'Atar Tilanu L'Honochon China V'Chisar Achamei Mikvadamar Shmaya V'Rav Vimru Amen Hey, Shalamar Rabami, Shemaya, Hayim Besavad Yishuav Nechama, Shedvar Fuad, Laus, Lichat Hapara, Vereba Batzalalan, Kol Amo Yisrael, Bimu Amen. Ose Shalom, Bimro Ma, Vurgiasa Shalom Alein, Kol Amo Yisrael, Bimru Amen. Okay, just for one minute, do a Hashkava, which is the equivalent of Kel Maleh. I'll give you the name. And then I'm just going to say one more thing, and then we'll be able to eat. Those of you at home, in the studio audience, feel free to eat as well. We'll show you the food. Yeah, that's right. Take your time. It's fine. יש?
טוב שתיהם משם טוב ויאמרו סוף דבר אנחנו נשמע את אלוהים יראה ואת מצוותיו שמור כי זה כל אדם. יעזו חסידים בכבוד ולמשקותם, מנוחה נכונה בשביל עליונה תחת כנפי שכינה ובמעט הקדושים הגדולים, כזוהר ערכי המאירים ומזיעים וחם ששמות, וכפרת השלמות והרחקת פשע והקרבת ישע וחמלה חניון מפני ציון ושוכרי מעונה. ואיכו להקת טובה לכלומבה, שם תהא מנת ובחיצת ושיבת נפש שמה טוב, כבוד. בנימין בן זאב. רוח המת נלחם בגן עדן, דהתפתל מן עלמא עדין. כאילו אצל הענה מלא שמיה ועליו מלך מלכי מלכים ברחמיו יחם עליו, ויחפוץ ויחמול עליו, מלך מלכי מלכים ברחמיו יסתירו בכל כנפיו ותן לעולו. לחזות בנועם השם ובקר ובחלול וקץ הימים ומידהו, ומנחל ליד זנב ישקהו. יצור בצור החיים ונשמתו וישים כבוד מלכותו וכבוד מלכתו לאמור אדוני הוא נחלתו וילווה אליו השלום ועל משכבו יהיה שלום כתוב ויבוא שלום לכל משכבותם הולך נכוחו הוא וכל בני סבא שכם עמו כולם יהיו בכלל הרחמים והסליחות וכן יהי רצון ולומר אמן.
I just want to make one comment. You can stay standing. It's going to be that short, and then you can wash, get food, or get food and get washed. There is absolutely no secret to learning a lot. There's no secret. It's simple. Make a decision. It's all you have to do. I'm going to learn 5 minutes a day. It took maybe 10 minutes a day. That's it. Sometimes 5 minutes. Some parakim are long, some are short. Navi, Tanakh, whatever you're going to do. Just make that decision, and that you make a gigantic difference. Bezrat Hashem, I hope to see you for all of you, all the things you're going to learn, Bezrat Hashem. And thank you all for being here. And for online, I'm just going to talk to you for a minute. You have to take a look at the food. There you go. Okay. And say hi to everybody. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. Yes, Dove is on here. Yes. Oh, he just had to sign off. Right. So, okay. Thank you all for the family. I will send out the video. So those who didn't see it, we're into live, will be able to see it later on. And I'm not going to unmute you. I'm just going to stop the video here. And Bezrat Hashem, we will talk at a later date, maybe tomorrow, on the yard site, when it's the yard site in the United States too. Thank you all for being here. Good afternoon. Thank you very much, everybody.